Hello everyone, welcome to a video about GenAI and copyright. The question is, can GenAI output be copyrighted? There's lots of discussions on this. Some people give an off-the-cuff answer of no, it cannot, but I think it's worth a deep dive. So I have a little presentation on the left here just to keep me structured and organized, and then we have Claude, we have ChatGPT, and then I have a scratch pad to do an exercise there too. So let's dive in on the video. So can GenAI output be copyrighted? One perspective is yes. I, as an author, created it, and AI is just a tool like any other tool. And this is what we're really going to push on today. And another answer, it seems to be what's prevalent in the courts, is AI created it and copyright needs a human author, just as the case with the monkey photographer that we'll talk about later. That didn't get a copyright because the author needs to be a person. So why is that? Well, so where in the U.S., where does copyright law come from? It starts with the Constitution and then Title 17, and then we have case law. So what's the Constitution say? The Constitution says that, and it's quoted right here, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. So this is the foundation of the Constitution for patents and for copyright. And we see a little author there, and yes, that was AI generated, so no copyright. What does Title 17 say? So this is the law that Congress enacted. Section 102A, I won't read this one verbatim, but it talks about original works of authorship. So authorship is certainly a key principle. And then Section B talks about that you cannot copyright ideas, procedures, so like recipes, how to do something, a method of operation, which again would be how to do something. That concept's going to definitely come into play in our discussion. So that's an exclusionary clause there that says what you cannot copyright. Some case law that I pulled out here. The first one talks about establishing the authorship lies in the creative conception rather than the physical execution. So this is very important because when we push on human as the author using AI as a tool, I think we'll see where the creative conception comes from, and physical execution can be incidental. That's one of the main points. And then the rural telephone case, that there's a really low bar for creativity. We're not going to talk too much about that today, but you'll see in my example, you might say, oh, that's not a very creative thing. And I might say, oh yeah, I'm not a very creative guy. But the bar is extremely low. And then Naruto versus Slater, that was the monkey selfie one. So a photographer left his camera out, monkey took a bunch of pictures, and the monkey did not get a copyright because there was no human author. So we're going to analyze some different examples here. A person is the author with no AI. What I'm calling GenAI is the author, which again is the way most courts think about it now, a lot of people. And GenAI is a tool, but the person is the author. So those are the examples. So what are we going to do? We're going to create a graphic logo. It's going to be composed of simple geometric shapes organized in a creative way. It has to be creative enough to justify copyright, but again, a very low bar. And it has to be simple enough that we can give AI clear instructions and express our creativity to AI and really ensure that we are the authors of the creativity. And then we see some examples, the Nike swoosh and the what was formerly Twitter, the bird. And again, these are both copyrighted. Some people will talk about trademarks. They are actually trademarks too, but in both cases they're defended as copyrights. So that's what we're going after. And again, I think the ideas and concepts that we show here, they do scale up to be more complex. You just need to handle that with better prompting and or editing. So the first one is the person as the author, no AI. So a logo, my idea is a logo inspiring clean lines, transparency, and up and to the right. So this is similar to the way the Nike logo signifies kind of like a check mark getting things done, but also like wings and being fast, or the Amazon logo with the arrow going from A to Z and having a smiley face. So that's the idea, again, not copyrightable. And then we have a recipe, which is our mode of operation here, which is how we're going to do it. And this also could include some instructions on, for example, how to use Google Slides. So I'm going to follow this. I won't read the whole thing, but this is what I'm thinking about, these bolded points. And I can go into Google Slides and I can insert a shape. And let's just pick a triangle. We'll put our triangle here. We want to rotate it because we want to be up and to the right. So we rotate it 270 degrees. We want it to be black. We think that looks pretty good. Maybe we want it to be a little narrower. We can tweak it. And then I'm going to copy paste that. I'm going to have a little bit of an overlap. This is my creative element that's really going to be about my transparency. And maybe I make that a little bigger, and I copy that again, same thing, up and to the right, transparent, clean, simple lines. Maybe that's a little too much, and maybe I want to move that out there. That looks pretty good. And then I want to add a little bit more transparency, so I'm gonna do some more triangles. Shape, triangle. Make a smaller one. I want this one to be white. So I make it white, no line. Oops, sorry. Whoops, white, yeah, no lines, white lines. Let's rotate that to 270 as well. And I think you see what I'm getting at. I will finish this triangle just so you get a good idea. Naval planes flying over, and I put this triangle in here, and there's kind of an overlap, and maybe I do that again, and I end up with this shape. So this is my shape that I've created, and it's the logo for my company, for my product, and I want to copyright it. It's creative, kind of a low bar, but it is creative. The creativity came from myself, and I used a tool. So that is the outcome. And here it is in my slide. Person is the author, no AI. My logo, inspiring clean lines, transparency, and up and to the right. Person created using Google Slides, copyrightable, check. So let's go to our next scenario. GenAI is the author. So in this case, I go to GenAI and I give it my idea, that first prompt. Give me a logo, inspiring clean lines, transparency, and up and to the right using triangles. And from Claude, I get what we see on the left with the blue triangles, and from ChatGPT, I get the thing on the right. I didn't add a lot of creativity or specificity. The mode of operation here was just entering a simple prompt, and I got two different results. So I would say that GenAI is actually the author of these logos, and it wouldn't be copyrightable. And I think this is what most people think about when they think about GenAI and copyrights. But now GenAI is a tool. Let's say I develop get out of this mode. Let's say I develop a prompt with lots of details about what I want. So I'm thinking about the creativity. I'm using GenAI as a tool, just like I use Google Slides as a tool. I've put the detail in here for it to be able to do what I want it to do because I have the creative conception. So let's go to GenAI. Let me go back to the slideshow. I knew it was going to do that. We'll come back to that after we go to GenAI. So let's go to Claude. And let's put our prompt in. Live demos. You know how we love live demos in product world. So Claude's going to think, and guess what? I can also ask ChatGPT the same thing. And we can process in parallel. So we're using lots of electricity and lots of water. So from Claude, it comes back, and this is the image that it gives me from my detailed prompt and description. From ChatGPT, this is again the image it gives me for my detailed description. Identical images from Claude and ChatGPT, and again back to my let's see if I can get this where I want it. Back to the slide, we see from Google Slides, I was the inspiration, the creative force. I used it as a tool. I had to go do clicky things to get it done and move some things around and to be honest, iterate. With Claude, I gave it a very specific prompt and it gave me the same outcome. I think that this proves that the creativity is in the author, who is me in all three cases. I think the repeatability and consistency also backs up that the author is me in all three cases. So I don't think it's significant that just because something is created by GenAI that it is not copyrightable. And we're going to see later, we're going to talk about one of the cases where the patent office came back and asked the applicant about what was their process, how many prompts did they have, and what was the input? Did they feed any other art that they had created into the process? So I think at some level the Copyright Office does think about the process for creating, even with GenAI, but I'm going to talk about why I think their decision, especially in that case, is wrong. So here's a proposal of an AI authorship framework, that AI is incidental. If you use AI and you use a simple prompt, you have a lack of details, it's inconsistent, whether you use the same engine and you get a different answer every time, or if you use different engines, you get a different answer, widely manifestations. I think AI is clearly the author. Again, that's what I think most people think about. On the right-hand side, what we did today is we had a highly specific prompt. We used AI as a tool. We didn't do multiple iterations, but we could have. If there are any variances between what I wanted and what came back, if there maybe some of the smaller white triangles were slightly different sizes. Again, I think those are insignificant differences, but I can iterate and I can iterate and I can iterate. And I'm doing the corrections. And I have creative intent. I did not want AI to do any creativity. I explicitly told it not to do anything creative and just do what I told it to do. And it's repeatable. And one of the reasons that I think about this is because this is how I use AI to code. When you want consistency in coding, you're creating classes, you're creating functions, and you don't want to use different patterns, and do and get the randomness that AI will give you a lot of times when you create one function versus another. You want consistency. So that's where I was using AI as a tool there, right? Where to me that also seems like a case where it's highly copyrightable. Let's talk about some recent cases, and we'll dive in here a little bit on the second one. So Thaler versus Perlmutter, that one just got today denied by the Supreme Court. They're not going to hear it. This is one where Thaler is a visual artist, and he actually used his own AI, his own model, this creativity machine. So he's pushing that the creativity machine is the author. He's not claiming that he's the author, and this got denied. I think this is highly analogous to the monkey picking up the camera, where AI is the author, so no copyright, no issues from my perspective on that. There's another one, Allen versus Perlmutter, and Perlmutter is the head of the Copyright Office, so we get that's why the name's in both cases, the person. So Jason Allen here is the author. Now this one's very, very interesting, and we're going to dive in. So he created text prompts. He used Midjourney, a public model, or an publicly available model, and he iterated through. And we'll see there were 624 iterations that he went through, and he did manual edits as well. But the Copyright Office ruled that it was generated by AI and it doesn't contain direct human-created authorship, and they're denying that application. I think that's incorrect, and if we apply our framework we talked about in the last slide, I think Jason Allen would be the author. There's some interesting points to the case, but we'll talk about it a little bit here. But I think it would fall on the side, depending on some of the details. The office doesn't dispute that he gave it specific creative parameters, so the creative intent is there. As part of our framework. He performed 624 iterations. That repetition as part of our framework is there. He selected results matching his vision and edited the final works. So again, those are creative inputs. I think those are strong cases. One of the things that Mr. Allen didn't do is he did not supply the Copyright Office with the actual prompts. He claimed, he and his lawyers claimed that was intellectual property. I think that might be something that could be required. And I also think that a repeatability test in this case. The Patent Office might say, hey, can you give us output from different models at different times and see what you get? Because I think that's going to really help indicate what level of creativity is coming from where, from whom, from the human author or from the AI. I think the second part of this, the CPA rule that is specific expressive choices are mere ideas simply because they were implemented through prompt engineering rather than a brush or camera. And this is from the filing of Allen, but I did see that in reading the copyright opinion. It seemed like they just, we're thinking that AI is this different thing and it needs to be treated very differently. And again, I think it's about how you use it, not not what it is. So I think that ruling should be overruled. And we've shown today that prompts can represent the entirety of the creativity required, and there's no additional creativity coming from the engine. It's just a better interface. It's saving me from spinning triangles around, and it's faster and it's automated. It's not necessarily creative. That's a discussion on GenAI. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you'd like to see some more content, let me know. Thanks.